Welcome back to STL Live. Today we're speaking with St. Louis Crisis Nursery, an organization that has provided safety and resources for at-risk children since 1986. And again, it's a pleasure to have you both here today. So much of this really comes down to a lot to making sure your staff is equipped in that moment when they receive that call to handle it appropriately. Talk a bit about the staff training. I mean, I know it's got to cover a lot of areas and it must be pretty intense.
Sure. Well, yes, because we do see families coming from all different situations. We work really hard to ensure that we have a comprehensive training protocol for all of our staff that are in the nurseries, at our administrative office, everywhere, to make sure that we're really providing that high level of support for our kids. This includes a trauma-informed care component. You may have heard about this really big emphasis in our area right now on providing trauma-informed care for families, and that has to do with recognizing the impact of really difficult situations on families, on children, and just recognizing the different ways that they cope with those. So by providing that comprehensive training for our staff, we're able to ensure that when those kids are in our care, if they're having a rough time because they're missing mom, they've maybe seen something really scary recently, that our staff know how to handle that and how to continue to be really nurturing and supporting for our kids while they're with us. And what we find as a result of that is that our kids just love being at the nursery. I want to tell you kind of a funny story. The other day, I got a call from a parent who was doing really well. She hadn't used the nursery in quite some time. Things had kind of stabilized. And she said, you know, my little one is turning 5 next week. And I asked him what he wants to do for his birthday. And he told me he wants to come to the Crisis Nursery. And, you know, for us, there's no greater form of, you know, we're so flattered by that, you know, that our kids experience that warmth and that love while they're with us and that they want to come back. Obviously, we couldn't offer care for that, but we were able to get some things together for them so they could have a nice celebration at home.
And I know we just threw up on the screen this artwork, and I guess this is an 11-year-old that was at one of the nurseries, and one of the projects, I guess artwork is probably something that the children do a lot in their downtime.
Yes, we have an art and play therapist that spends time with our kids at the nurseries, again, just to offer that outlet for expressing different feelings. We all need that, right? Some place where we can talk about different things that have gone on that are hard, that we're trying to figure out, and so our art and play therapy really provides that outlet. And then in addition, our staff is doing interventions throughout the day to provide support for our kids.
No, and thank you for sharing that story about your staff, because I think there's nothing more than knowing what you're doing has impact, and that's probably equally important, not just for the people that you're serving, but also for your staff as well.
Yes.
And Melanie, I want to bring something I think that's really interesting. You actually are at the Ferguson Outreach Center. How did that get started? I mean, beyond the obvious needs, Ferguson has obviously been in the headlines for the past couple of years, but talk about the Outreach Center specifically there.
Well, the Crisis Nursery definitely prides themselves on being a great need for our community, and we definitely want to go where we are most needed. And so the Crisis Nursery wants to be a continued support to, of course, the Ferguson community, because we see a great need there, and we just want to remain visible out in the community. So we had an opportunity to actually partner with one of the local churches in Ferguson, and they built this beautiful outreach center. And so we thought that this is our chance to be able to serve families in this community. And what we're finding is that a lot of families are utilizing this outreach center. We have donation days every month. And our last month, we were able to serve over 170 families through those efforts. And we just see that a lot of people are not really sure, or they may be not wanting to go like to a nursery site, but they're willing to come to our outreach center and receive that support. So we just want to go where we're most needed. And we know that we're receiving a lot of support through that Ferguson community, definitely. And it's not just for the Ferguson residents, but all surrounding areas. We've done a lot, partnerships with the Dalewood Center that's kind of closely tied to the Ferguson area as well.
Yes, and another one that I want to talk about when we come back from break is Jefferson County as well, because you're outside of the St. Louis City and St. Louis County area. For more information on St. Louis Crisis Nursery, we've got the information there for you on the screen. It's crisisnurserykids.org. But stay with us for more STL Live. We have one more segment with St. Louis Crisis Nursery right after this.